First, Pentium 233 MHz or compatible processor or faster. 300 MHz or faster recommended. Second, 64 MB of RAM minimum. 128 MB or more recommended. Third, 4.3 gigabytes hard disk space or more. Fourth, CD-ROM or DVD-ROM. Fifth, Super VGA 800 x 600 or higher resolution monitor. Last, keyboard and mouse.
Windows XP installation. First, insert the Windows XP CD-ROM and reboot the computer. If you see a message about first indicate to boot the CD, do so now. Otherwise, you will see a message about setup inspecting your system. Second, MS-DOS portion of setup begins. In the first stage of setup, you will see a series of blue and gray MS-DOS based screens. In the first step, you will be asked to press F6 if you need to install any third-party or RAID driver. Third, welcome to setup. Finally, setup begins. In this step, you can set up XP, launch the recovery console, another more complicated system recovery tool, or quit. Press enter to continue setup, and it will examine your hard drivers and removable disk. 4. Read the license agreement. Next, you have to agree the microscope complex licensing agreement. Among the highlights, you don't actually own Windows XP and you can only install it on one PC. Hit F8 to continue.
5. Choose an installation partition. This crucial step lets you choose where to install XP. On a clean install, you will typically install to drive C. But you might have other ideas, especially if you plan to do both with ×9. Setup will show you all of our available disks, in this case just one, and let you create and delete partition as needed. So, for example, if you had one disk, but you like to create two partitions, one for XP and one for data, you can do that here. Select the file system. If you created a new partition or wish to change the file system of an existing partition, you can do so in the next step. NTFS, New Technology File System. File system is more secure than FAT or File Allocation System, regardless of which file system you choose. But to select one of the quick format options, the two top choices. If you do need to format, since this will work much more quickly than a full format. Optionally format the partition. If you did choose to change or format the file system, this will occur next. First, you'll be asked to verify that format. If your installation XP on a system with more than one partition, especially one that still holds the data on one of the partition but sure you're formatting the correct partition. Hit F to continue, and a yellow progress bar will indicate the status of the format. When this complete, setup will again examine your disk and create a list of files to copy. 8. Setup folder copy, paste, and reboot. Setup will now copy system file the system boot partitions you just created. This will allow the PC to boot from the C drive and continue setup in GUI mode. When the file copy is complete, setup will analyze and save your XP configuration. It will then reboot your PC. When the system reboots, you will probably see the press and K the reboot from CD. Message again. When this happens, do not press a K. Setup will not boot from you. C drive in the event that you cannot prevent the CD base setup from reloading. Eject the CD and reboot. Setup will ask for the CD when needed. 9.
9. GUI setup begins. Once the system begins, you will represented with the GUI setup phase, which is much more attractive than the DOS mode phase. As you progress through GUI setup, you can read promotional information on the right side of the screen about XP. Next, your hardware services devices are detected. This could take several minutes. 10. Regional and language option. In the first interactive portion of GUI setup, you can choose to customize the regional and language settings that will be used by XP, as well as the text input language you like. Users in the United States will not normally need to change anything here. Click Next to continue. 11. Personalize your software. Now, enter your name and your company. The name you enter is not the same as your username. Incidentally, so you should enter your real name here. Click Next to continue. 12. Enter your product key. Now you must enter the 25-character product key that is located on that orange sticker found on the back of the CD holder that came with Windows XP. You cannot install XP without a valid product key. Later on, you will be asked to activate and optionally register your copy on Windows XP. A product key can be used to install XP on only one PC. Click Next to
Enter a
continue.
computer name and administrator password. In the next phase of setup, you can create a name for your computer, which is used to identify it on a network, and optionally in Pro Edition only. A password for the system administrator, the person who controls the PC. This will generally by you, of course. Number 14. Supply your date and time settings. Next, you can supply the date and time, which are auto-set based on information in your BIOS, and the time zone, which is irritatingly set to PST, which is where Microsoft is. Change this as appropriate. Click Next to continue. 15. Network setup. If you have a networking card or modem, setup now install the networking components, which include the client for Microsoft Networks, file and print, sharing the quality of service, or QoS, packet scheduler, and the TCP or IP, networking protocol by default. Number 16. Choose networking settings. In this phase, you can choose to keep the default settings or recommended or enter custom settings. Note that XP doesn't include the legacy NetBEUI protocol out of the box. If you want to use this protocol, you will need to install it later from the XP. Click Next to continue.
Enter workgroup or domain information. In Windows XP Professional only, you will be able to select a workgroup or domain name next. Home Edition doesn't work with Windows domains. However, a setup will automatically supply the workgroup name MS Home, which you can change later. The default workgroup name in XP Pro is Imaginatively Workgroup. Click Next to continue. 17. Setup completion. From this point on, setup will continue to completion without any further need for interaction. Setup will only copy files, complete installation, install your start menu items, register system of components, save settings, remove any temporary files needed by setup, and then reboot. Again, you will probably see the press any key to boot from CD message on reboot. If this happens, do not press a key, and your new XP install will boot up. You can remove the XP setup CD now. 18. First boot. You will be greeted by the XP splash screen and first boot. This actually appears briefly when you're booted into GUI setup as well. The splash screens for XP Pro and Home are subtly different. 19. Change display settings. Users with CRT monitors and some LCDs, such as laptops and flat panel displays, will see a display settings dialog appear, which asks whether you'd like XP to automatically set the resolution. This will generally change the resolution from 800 by 100 to 1224 by 768 on a CRT monitor, or to the native resolution of an LCD display. Click OK and let XP change the resolution. You'll accept the settings if the screen display changes and can be read. If you can't see the display, it will time out after 30 seconds and return to the suboptimal 800 by 600 resolution. Click OK to accept the screen resolution change. 20. Welcome to Microsoft Windows. Now, you are presented with XP's out-of-box experience, or OOBE, which presents a silly wizard to guide you through the final setup of your PC. Click Next to continue.
Number 21. Network Setup. In the opening OOBE phase, you are asked to set up your network or internet connection, which is required for activation and registration. If you selected the default networking configuration during setup and know it will work because you're connected directly to a cable modem, perhaps, or are on a local area network, then select Yes, the default. Otherwise, you can select No and then Skip. Well, assume that your network is up and running and select Yes. Click Next to continue. Number 22. Optionally activate and register Windows. If you selected Yes in the previous step, you are asked if you'd like to activate Windows XP. This will tie your copy of XP to the current PC semi-permanently. Activation requires a connection to the internet, but you can perform this step later if you want. And don't worry, XP will annoyingly remind you of this fact every time you boot the machine until you do so. Number 23. Set up users. Now, you can set up the usernames of the people who will be using the PC. You will want at least one user for you, since you shouldn't be logging on as administrator. Curiously, each user you do create here has administrative privileges, however, and no password. You should set up your users correctly with passwords as soon as possible. This phase lets you create up to 5 users. You can create more later or manage users using the User Accounts tool in Control Panel. Click Finish when done creating users at this point. OOBE ends and you're ready to go. Click Finish again. Number 24. Log on to Windows XP for the first time. Click your name. That account will log on and you'll be presented with the XP desktop. After you create passwords, however, you'll be asked to enter a password before you can log on.